but other than that, yeah, fuck it, dude. We're past a year. We're grown.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Oh my God.
I'm trying to
What's
figure
going
out.
on?
I'm trying to figure out what's cutting in and
Holy
what's out.
shit. Dude, we think about sports, football,
Man,
Chiefs, Bills,
so yeah, Super Bowl set, which is not the Super Bowl
Chiefs,
I wanted.
Eagles.
Chiefs, Eagles. Yeah.
The Chiefs Bills game was good.
I wanted going into the playoffs. I wanted Detroit, Buffalo.
Yeah,
Didn't happen.
that would have been awesome.
But then I really like everyone was cheering for Washington, but I was more going for the Eagles. I despise Philadelphia Eagles fans.
Yeah,
they're the worst
because of the fan base, right?
They're the worst people in the world. I mean, hands down, they are. I mean, there's no arguing that.
Yep.
But I really like Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley, especially.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a Giants fan. Like, they're my number 2 team because I grew up rooting for the Giants. And then I really like Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
And just a fucking, what an unbelievable season.
Yep.
So,
phenomenal.
Yeah, there goes the sniff again, dude. Cut out on me.
That's a good thing. It just feels weird when you can't hear it.
I know. I don't like it. But anyway, so that was what I wanted. What we get is a rematch of the Eagles and the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Fuck the Chiefs.
Yep.
I'm so done.
Going for the Eagles.
I'm over Patrick Mahomes. I like Andy Reid.
And we've talked about it before. Like, it's not like there's not a reason we just dislike him other than we just dislike him. Like, we don't have a good reason to say we don't like him.
At this point now, I dislike Patrick Mahomes because he seems very entitled to certain calls, and when they don't go his way, he acts like a little bitch.
He's got that LeBron.
And now he's
syndrome.
trying to draw penalties.
Yeah.
Have you seen some of these
The
where
flops?
he's trying to draw?
Yeah.
Not even the flop. Like there was one against, it was last week. It wasn't against the Bills, but he's running out of bounds. And like every quarterback just trots off the field, like all the defenders.
He tries to go
up.
the last second, stay in.
He tried to like not stay in. He eased up. He's let off the throttle
Before he got
waiting
out.
for a defender to hit into him to
Yeah.
draw a penalty. Like shit like that drives me fucking crazy. The one where he's going out of bounds and then like, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
So all the defenders let up because they know they can't hit him once he's going out of bounds.
Yep.
And he knows that, and he's using that to his advantage, which, I mean, good for him, but I fucking hate him for it.
I was
because it's a disingenuous
I was
fucking
happy
move.
to see the refs kind of let the game be played for the most part, because I think he took a couple shots in that game that he expected them to throw a penalty flag on that they didn't, and I was like, okay, good. Like, just let them play.
There were 2 calls in that one that I thought were pretty fucking shitty.
Oh, I didn't say there weren't shitty calls.
Oh, no,
but-
I'm just saying the ones that clearly, in my mind, and maybe I just have bias, went in favor of the Chiefs versus the Bills. There was the one which was the half interception, half catch.
And immediately signaled that he had,
like, first of all,
before even seeing,
neither of those players had possession when that ball clearly hit the ground. Neither of them had possession. That should be a no catch right there. All right. I mean, I don't know how much of a difference it would have made. There was still a 15-yard penalty for, I can't even remember what. It might have been roughing the passer.
I think it was.
So, yeah, there would have been a 15-yard penalty. That would have extended the drive. But the fact is, it put him on the 2-yard line, the 3-yard line. Like, it's an easy touchdown. So that one went against them. And then the fourth down call, or the fourth down call where the Bills, Josh Allen, the bad placement.
Oh, yeah.
They showed
where
it
they showed he got the ball over the line.
He clearly did.
Yeah.
And only against the Chiefs is that not a first down.
Right.
Only against them in critical situations. So that's fucking annoying. But I mean, hey, congratulations, Kansas City.
All the Swift fans, man.
Oh, all I wanted to do was just look at Taylor Swift the entire game. Like, Tammy and I were watching, like, we were like halfway through the first quarter, maybe all the way through the first one. Like, where's Taylor?
Yeah, thank
we haven't
God.
seen her at all.
Yeah.
I know, dude. I think they kind of eased up a little bit. Like, how am I supposed to know what she's wearing, who she's hanging out with? Is she cheering or not?
Yeah.
Is she with Kelsey's mom?
Well, I'm definitely rooting for the Eagles. Adam, if you want to hit B6, I'm with the mayor of Philadelphia on this one.
Are we talking about her chanting?
Oh my God, I've seen this.
Yeah, you guys have seen this one?
I think everybody has.
Yeah, so she spells Eagles. The
Like
chant
everyone
is
else. E-A-G-L-E-S.
E-A-G-L-E-S.
Like every Philly fan knows.
She says E-L-G-S-E-S.
Dude, the best part of this video is this guy in the background with the green hat.
So shake his head.
Because he goes like, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
He's like,
The police
doubles
chief's,
back.
The police chief's there like,
yeah. So I'm with the E-L-G-S-E-S's.
here's the thing. Like, I get.
Elgses, baby.
Like, if I were to get up there and do the chant, maybe I'm nervous. I'm on the news. There's
Yeah,
a big
you're
crowd.
not the mayor.
It's your
But
city.
as a politician, like, you should. This is your
Yeah.
gig. Public speaking's your thing.
Yeah.
Dude, you work here. Come on.
You're not going to get up here and call the
Exactly.
Phoenix Suns the wrong name.
I know.
S-A-N-V-S.
Huh? Yeah, just idiots. I don't know. Whatever. Maybe
He
he's just
needs
nervous.
to buy a vowel.
I'll cut her a
name.
pass. I'll give her a break, but that was funny.
No
Like,
breaks.
Fuck, man. You
Know
can't
your
spell
shit.
Eagles. Every Philly fan knows that stupid chant because, number one, that's how you spell Eagles.
Duh. Yeah.
And number two, they do it all the fucking time, and even everybody that hates the Eagles knows that stupid fucking
And in the
chant.
stands all game long.
Even the Jets. J-E-T-S.
Yeah.
Jets.
Yeah, you're not gonna misspell
Yeah.
that.
Maybe. If she's the mayor of New York.
Five
possibly.
letters is too much. 6 letters is too much.
It can be.
You don't see
Four-
anybody
four is a sweet
spelling
spot.
the Cardinals out there to see. Hey.
It'll take forever.
We're going to have to wait another 30 years for that shit.
Yeah.
Or until Kyler's gone.
Dude, next year's going to be our year, man.
Not with Kyler.
It's always next year.
Always next year, baby.
I mean, it's always next year for everybody. Only 2 teams make it, right? Only
Yeah.
1 team wins.
I just want to know what the logo looks like. You
Hey,
know what I mean?
I thought the Cowboys won 3 in a row. Did they not?
No, they won 2, I think lost 1.
And then won one? Okay.
I believe.
I could have swore, like, I don't know why. In my head, I had it as that they had always won 3 in a row. And they're like, oh, the Chiefs are going to do something no team has ever done. I'm like, I'm pretty sure the fucking Cowboys did it.
No, I think they won 2, lost 1.
They lost the one.
won
Okay.
But I believe they went to 4 in a row.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Beat
The Bills.
the Bills twice, right?
Yeah. Poor Bills.
They beat the Steelers.
Who was
Was
the,
that
that's
who
the
did they
three?
who did they lose to then?
I don't know. I don't remember.
I can't either.
The
Huh.
Niners, maybe?
No, because they're in the same division
Oh, yeah.
or conference. I don't know, man. That's a good question. Or maybe they did. Maybe they didn't go to 3 in a row.
I'll pull it up.
Maybe they went to 2, did not go to 1.
And then went to a.
Yeah, they won like 3 out of 4 though.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, fuck the Chiefs. Go Eagles, I guess. Except if you're a Philly fan, you don't honestly deserve what you're getting right now. I got a couple Philly fans. They're not listening though, because they're terrible people. All right, man.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Do it.
So moving on from the Super Bowl, which is a big. Hey, you can. No one even wanted to bring up the controversy of the logo colors.
Yeah, I do. I want to revisit it. We thought it was going to be a red team, either Chiefs or Niners and Ravens, because it was red and purple.
No, it's green this year. It's green and red.
Is it green and red?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was red and purple.
See that?
That's how it started?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I thought for sure.
Oh, shit.
I thought for sure one of you clowns would mention
Well,
that.
I was going to talk about that it was red and purple. I thought it was red and purple. That was last year's that we talked about.
Probably.
Yeah, last year was red and purple. This year is red and green.
Interesting.
The red though, I mean, it's just
Yeah, the red could be
Nope.
so many different.
Nope. Red means Chiefs.
and
It could have meant Niners.
Nope. Means
Okay.
Chiefs.
everyone thought it was going to be Niners
Okay.
and Chiefs again. That's what it was last year.
Yeah.
But the green means that it was going to be Eagles.
No, wait. Was it Niners?
I thought it was. I want
It
to
was
say
the
Rams?
Ni- it was the
Ravens
Niners.
last year? I don't remember.
The Niners went last year and they lost to the Chiefs because the Chiefs were about to three-peat.
Right.
No shit.
Right.
So yeah. Okay. Yeah, they were both red.
Yeah, so Johnny, for the Cowboys thing, they won in 93, 94, and then they went back in 96 and
Yeah,
won.
yeah. So
Bills, Steelers.
who went in 95?
Oh, I don't know. I don't have that. I just have the Cowboys.
I need to know. Was that the year the Giants won? No, the Giants won in like 90. Giants won like 86, 90. I don't know who won 95. Ooh.
It pulled up
Niners
every.
and Chargers.
Niners and Chargers in
and the
95?
Niners- and the
Oh, it was the
Niners
Niners
won.
destroyed them.
Yeah, Niners, Chargers.
Okay, I
Yep.
remember that.
49-26.
Terrible game.
Yikes.
That's what I'm hoping this year is. Philly on top.
Yeah.
Saquon, 3 touchdowns.
They routed Washington pretty good, man.
destroyed them. I mean, the turnovers didn't help, but Saquon, I think the fucking, how many, I don't know how many plays it was or time of possession, but it was a lot of the first quarter. With that,
I didn't even see
they
the
had
first
on that
game. I just
first
saw the score.
possession.
Yeah.
They had like 2 fourth down conversions, and then they wound up kicking a field goal. Got 3 points. Philadelphia gets the ball, 1 play, hand off to Saquon, gone. 18 seconds. Hey, dude,
It's going to be a long game.
he had a fucking game, man. I thought he got hurt after the second touchdown. It was the second touchdown on the second possession. And then he was over there riding the bike. They were talking about possible injury, like hamstring. I'm like, oh no. I hope, man, he's good though. He came back. Obviously scored another touchdown. All right, man. Moving on to the rest of the world in the news.
Yeah.
I mentioned this just before we got going.
Yeah.
it seems like so much has happened as far as like U.S./world politics in the last week since Trump's been in office, because he just keeps doing shit.
Yeah.
Some good, I mean, some bad, I guess, depending on who you are. But I mean, what, 33 executive orders and just other things tacked on to executive orders, projects he's getting going, man. Like,
I read a quote that was pretty funny. It said,
Yeah.
Trump is governing like a man who has been shot, indicted, investigated, and impeached and has no fucks left to give.
fuck yeah.
I was like, yeah, pretty much sums it up.
Dude, he's been tearing through shit. Like some of the big ones, obviously, and we'll talk about all of them, but I mean, no more 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sexes. There's just the 2 now.
Yep.
There's 2 genders.
That was crazy. I did not expect
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah. I mean,
I just like the
Crazy.
he's not playing the make believe game. Like, here it is.
yeah, like it just
Do what you
makes-
want on your. And the thing is, like, do what you want
You
on your
can
own
still
time.
be a pansexual
But on your passport
butterfly
or in your federal
whatever.
setting, like, you've got to pick one or the other.
So what does that mean for all the passports that people have with X on them?
They should be null and void.
Do they got to go get new
That
passports?
is a
Absolutely.
good. That is a good question. I wonder what they have
Because
to
I
do
know
with
we
that.
already gave out a shit ton of those.
There's got to be a grace period too, because a passport is
Yeah,
not
it takes-
quick to
yeah.
get.
There's
Yeah,
some turnaround time.
yeah. How does? But I mean, I assume if you're traveling abroad, they might still accept a Caesar or whatever the fuck you want to be.
you just can't come back.
You
That's
can't
the
come
plan.
back.
That was
Oh,
the
Oh, shit.
plan. Holy shit.
Genius.
fucking brilliant.
Holy shit.
Sure, travel.
Problem solved.
Oh,
Free
wow.
plane
Now,
tickets.
now offering free cruises to Cancun.
That's fucking genius.
Dude, that's brilliant. Didn't even think of that angle.
That's the long game right there, boys.
Maybe he is playing 3D chess.
Dude. 40.
40. Man, fucking crazy. 47 chess.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Um,
Presidential 47.
let's he's ending the weaponization of the federal government.
Yep.
It's directed at preventing the misuse of federal agencies for political purposes. Withdrawing the U.S. from the World Health Organization. That was kind of a big controversial
that's interesting.
one. Yeah, but basically, like these things, these organizations that have no part
They're all
of the US
appointed.
they're not only are they not appointed, you are not a part of the U.S. government, and then they try to dictate policy of
Yeah.
what the U.S. will do. And even beyond that, we pay almost all the fucking money. Like,
Yeah.
what are these other countries doing? So pulled us out of that. So,
Maximum, that should be something that we like consult with them and go, hey, what do you guys think? What are you guys going to do? Cool. We'll take that information back to our country and we'll run with it.
yeah, you do
We'll
not-
figure it out from there.
Exactly. You do not get to
Yeah.
dictate what
You're
we
a
do in our
think tank.
country.
You're not, yeah.
Yeah, you can suck a dick.
Yep.
We're America, goddamn.
Bag of dicks.
Bag of dicks. Restoring the accountability to policy influencing position. Oh, dude, there's so many of these. Like I downloaded all of them, looking at them kind of as we go here. Clarifying the military's role in protecting the territorial integrity of the United States. Outline the military's responsibilities for safeguarding the U.S. borders.
And that's kind of what we talked about last shift about declaring. Part of that was declaring foreign terrorists, the cartels as foreign terrorists.
Yeah, dude.
So
that's
now
a
we
big
can
deal,
actually
too.
enact the military
SEAL
use
Team
in
6,
stopping them.
baby.
Yeah.
Go get them.
I still don't know how I think about that. I
Yeah.
think that's so fucking messy.
I agree.
I even heard they had I don't even know what the guy's name was, but they had a former Delta guy on there talking about it. He's like, if you basically kind of what we said last show, if you want this, yeah, we're gonna go in, like we're gonna be effective. Cartel bosses are gonna be killed, like things are gonna get blown up, like trade supply is gonna be disrupted, the border's gonna get locked down. But this isn't like fighting the Taliban in Afghanistan. Number one, they're arguably much better funded than the Taliban. Number two, they're not
They're a lot
world
closer.
away. They are
Yeah,
right.
next
They're
door.
right
Yeah.
here. Not only are they right across the border, they are literally in every city.
You are essentially turning the border into a war zone.
Yeah. So what is not even the border? I think our cities.
But I'm saying, like, to protect that, like, that's a war zone now.
Yeah, like
and
what-
it spills over both sides.
what is
That
it?
would be my concern, dude. Is
That's what we talked about that last
on
show.
the home front,
Yeah.
like retaliation in
And
our cities. And
That's
shit,
a
you know?
real concern. I honestly think that's the biggest concern.
Yeah.
Because what does it look like when all of a sudden a mall gets blown up?
Yeah, they decide
Or
to
a
fight
night-
back. Or
Yeah. It's a couple of fucking guys walk into a nightclub and murder everybody. Like, what is that going to look like? Dude,
Yeah.
that's rough. I don't get
it's
it.
scary.
I mean, so yeah,
It'll be interesting to see how that is actually carried out.
I really think that I'm not a politician. I don't know how a lot of these things work. So, I mean, I would think that there's got to be a better way to implement some sort of economic pressure on Mexico to get your shit together. Because if you think about it, we're losing more people in this country to like overdoses from drugs than we do in wars. Like, this is more of a crisis than a war is.
Yeah.
We're losing more people. So, I mean, how do we treat it? Honestly, like you should be able to put the maximum amount of pressure on them. Everything short of war, and like I don't want to go to war with Mexico. I don't think anybody does.
Yeah,
but
We'd win though. Just saying.
well, yeah. I mean, I don't think there's any doubt about that.
yeah, just saying.
I just want to throw that out there.
Like if we needed to, we could take Mexico in a week.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, but then all
No
of a sudden,
problemo.
all of a sudden, the cartels are our actual problem.
Yeah, there are citizens.
yeah, fuck.
Now they have rights.
Well, now, damn it, you're so right. Shit.
Yeah. Now they're protected.
We can't take Mexico.
Yeah. Nope.
That would give the drug dealers rights.
Yeah.
I did a big deeper dive into. I didn't like a deep dive. I watched like an hour-long thing about Greenland
Yeah.
and the purchase of Greenland
And about why we should take
I
that.
think it's going to happen.
I don't think it's going to happen, but it is a much bigger deal than I thought.
Really?
Yeah, militarily speaking, and
Just because of location, like logistically.
China's trying to get this fucking trade route through. I can't remember what fucking sea it is, but basically coming through Greenland, they own like some seriously critical mines in Greenland already. Like they're not really using them, but the fact that they own them and control them like puts a strain on the supply and therefore the cost of minerals through the world.
How would that work if we purchase Greenland? Do they still own the mines, or do we go, hey, that's ours now?
They own lots of fucking land here in the U.S. Like
That's true.
I don't know how it works. I'm assuming. Again, we talked about this. We don't want to start a fucking war with China either. So I mean, it's like okay, that's your mine. Like continue to do what you're going to do with that, but everything else here is now ours. Maybe.
You got to lease it for.
So yeah, I don't know. And they were talking about all the it's interesting when you look at Greenland and you kind of tilt the world around and you see where it's positioned. I mean, you kind of know it in your mind.
Yeah.
But when you see it on a flat map, it's different than when you look at it from the top of the globe.
Yeah.
Russia's put all of these fucking bases all around. They had old Soviet bases that encompass like the Arctic Circle, and they're reopening them, and it's all right on top of Greenland.
Oh no
so
shit.
Like it's kind of interesting when these people started putting it together in economic terms and military terms. I'm like, oh, Greenland's actually kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
And honestly, Canada, it's right there. It's all right there. So it was pretty interesting.
51st state.
It was like some CNBC piece. So if anybody's interested, go look at that on YouTube. It was pretty eye opening. What else? Can you think of any of his executive orders that caught your eye?
No, I didn't see too many of the executive orders. I read the Columbia thing. I thought that was pretty
Columbia
funny.
thing. We'll get to that.
Yep.
He restored the federal death penalty.
Really?
Yeah, I think Biden was the one that got rid of it. But now if you're a federal criminal convicted of murder and you're sentenced to the death penalty, we can do that.
So are all the people, I would imagine all the people that were exonerated from the death penalty, that probably stands?
I'm assuming. Yeah.
He goes back. Hey, Joe, bad news.
Ooh.
Hey, buddy.
It's back on.
Did you get the memo?
Next week's going to be rough.
I got a lot of different thoughts about death penalty in general. Like, some people are just so blatantly guilty. They admit it, things like that. Like, okay, let's kill that dude.
But what about the people that are wrongfully accused and they don't figure it out 20 years later? They're like, oh, we found this new evidence. That guy was actually never involved, or the DA was corrupt, or those lawyers planted evidence.
Yep.
Like,
with new DNA.
That's the shit that scares me. Yeah.
Yeah, like Kim Kardashian might save you. Like you might get taken out of jail by Kim Kardashian because she's big into that. She's saved a couple people, I believe.
Oh, are you being serious?
I'm being dead fucking
Oh, I
serious.
thought you were saying like a video
did
pops
she
out.
pay somebody to do it and then put her name?
Well,
on
She's
it?
got a big brain.
She's not a lawyer.
She's got a big something.
Brains.
She's not a lawyer, but she's become like, this is her thing. Like, I mean, you forget her dad was a lawyer.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, this is a big project.
She's trying to use her
of hers.
powers for good.
She really is, which is
Good for
and
her.
like a couple people have gotten out of jail, and I've actually heard her speak on it. I'm like, she's fairly intelligent. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
you're not just a big ass and titties. But yeah, she's gotten
She's so much more.
So much more.
Yeah. All right.
there was some sex joke in there, but I'm gonna let it lie.
Poner.
That's not a poner is a patriotic boner. She's just boner.
Oh.
That's regular material.
Okay.
Like boner still stands in its normal
That's
context.
just stock. That's just stock.
That's
All
stock boners.
Yeah, I can't believe that she's like this big philanthropist.
I couldn't
now,
either. When I heard it,
saving
I thought it
people.
was a joke.
I mean, I
I'm
think
like,
it's cool, but
I thought it was a total joke. She's got like a foundation and she's very involved in it. And obviously, like Adam was saying, it's like she is not arguing in court. But I mean,
do you think some of it's like self-serving? Like maybe she's been involved with bad shit, and like now she's trying to offset that by doing good shit, so that when that shit comes out, the bad shit comes out, she can go, but look at all the good I've done, and hopefully like counteract.
I don't know. Like what bad shit would you think she's involved
I don't know, just like Hollywood bad shit, like all the rumors you hear and like the Diddy parties, and like is she attached to any of that? Because her and Kanye had their falling out, and they, you know, he's got some words about her and doing shit. But do you think she's like wrapped up in that shit?
I'm gonna throw this out there. I don't know her personally.
Yeah.
But
Well,
like,
I know a guy who knows
I know
her
a guy
sister.
who knows her sister.
Yeah. I know a guy who knows Chloe. He's been in contact with Chloe.
Chloe, let me get some more jeans.
But I just can't, like, why? What does it benefit her to be wrapped up as, like, she's just famous as fuck. Like, she literally put out a sex tape and became this insanely famous billionaire. Office, like, do I need to traffic in children?
Yeah.
Unless it's just a passion of hers, like,
Trafficking children.
Yeah, like,
it's my passion.
Like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I just don't see it. I just don't see it. Like,
yeah, but as far as the death penalty goes, like that's the only part that scares me. Like, I'm
absolutely.
all for it. Like,
because it could be me. I mean, it could be like, who knows?
these serial killers, these pedophiles, like all these people. Like, we put down dogs for biting people, saying, "Oh, they can't be rehabilitated." But you have these people that do these horrific acts, and we go, let's put them in the system and hang on to them for 30 years, and we'll let the taxpayers fund that. Fuck that. Put them down.
There's got to be. I think we've talked about this on previous shows. Like,
Do you disagree?
I wouldn't put them down, dude. I'd put them to work.
Fuck that. Then you got to feed them.
Fair enough.
No. Put 'em down.
Here's another thing. You talk about putting them to work, and then all of a sudden you get into the prison industrial complex. Like,
Fair
we're
enough.
just locking this dude had a dime bag. Now we gave him 10 years and made him a fucking
Right.
indentured servant for 10 years because he had a dime bag. Like, what are we fucking doing?
All right, fine. put 'em
Meanwhile,
down.
he's in for 10 years, and on the 9th year, like we legalized marijuana. We're like, sorry, dude.
Dude, that's happened all.
Sorry about your
Can you
last
imagine,
9.
dude?
Yeah.
Holy
Good news.
shit.
Speaking of that, I did like Biden had how many pardons? There's a fuck ton.
8,000, almost 8,000.
It was over 8,000.
There was like,
Yeah.
I'm going to mess up on this number, but it's like out of the 8,000, there was like 6,500 that were for like weed crimes and shit like that.
Wow.
So I saw them like, okay, that's decent. Like,
Yeah.
just like you said, this dude got 5 years for a dime bag.
Yeah.
And like, we have legal weed. What are
Yeah.
we talking about? What are we doing? So he pardoned and commuted a lot of those. There were obviously questionable ones, but I saw that one. I'm like, okay, good job.
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't just 8,000 random ones.
Yeah.
Like, that's decent.
It
He
wasn't
had
like pardoning
eight-
Fauci ahead of time.
He had
Right.
8,064 pardons total.
That's nuts.
Yeah, and I'm going to say like 6,500 of those were like low,
I think the
low-level
next
crimes.
closest most that a president's ever had has been like 1,700,
Yeah.
I have Obama at 1927.
1,900.
There was like Roosevelt had a buttload. I can't remember how many, but it was fairly not that many, but it was over that. But yeah, when you see that many, like low level weed crimes, things like that, like to me that seemed justified.
Yeah.
I'm here to knock Biden at all turns, but
Yeah.
I'll give him that one. The
That was
Fauci
a solid.
preemptive one was bullshit. There's a lot of things, his executive orders, as far as basically strengthening borders and immigration. I also heard that it is now official that it is the Gulf of America.
Yes.
We changed the name.
Yeah.
I checked Apple Maps yesterday though.
Is it updated?
No, not yet.
Like, why would
Apple slacking.
Come on, Apple.
Well, I did just read that this morning. So, but I mean, why would
Let's get
they?
a live check.
And there's another thing too. Is like, is Apple and we talked about all these map makers like, okay, we're gonna redo all our shit now.
Right.
Like, no, like maybe if we make a new one, it'll be the Gulf of America. But for now, it stays.
It's literally something that's just for us.
It's a fucking power move.
Yeah.
I just like it. Just it's America. Fuck yeah.
Gulf
Yeah.
of Mexico still.
On Apple Maps.
Yep.
Oh, you motherfuckers.
Not-
Yeah, I
it's not
mean-
American. It's not
That
patriotic.
ain't, yeah. Fuck you, Apple.
Tariffs on Apple.
It's probably because they got a bunch of dudes in Pakistan and India writing code for that, and they're like, not
Yeah.
yet, not yet.
Yep.
What else? He declassified the still a star. So I got a lot
Yep.
of these in the.
Here we go.
I got a lot of them in the rundown, but that was like the big thing I think this week is all these fucking executive orders he threw out.
If I'm correct, the big three were the MLK,
That's big,
JFK,
and RFK.
and RFK.
Yeah, yeah. So that thing I told you about MLK being a big orgy guy, I don't know
Yeah.
if that's real because I couldn't find anything else.
So I will say that okay, so just kind of to touch on what Johnny's talking about. So there were out of I put it in there B14 through 16. I'm sure. Do you have it labeled too? You have the video. So these look like
I have the one of him signing.
so these are the look like official documents. And I want to say that they were said that these were unclassified, and I want to say they were FBI documents, and so a lot of people in the comments were questioning the validity of them. But basically, it goes on to talk about how MLK was not this shining, virtuous, moral compass of truth. That he was actually surrounded himself. If you read through this article, and you can actually go through these 3 pages, he surrounded himself with a lot of people that were communists in the Communist Party, and that he routinely, more than 2 or 3 occasions, had these basically orgies with these presidential people, either candidates or officials or whatever. And the rumor was that these would last up to 2 hours. They would bring in prostitutes.
2 hours.
Good for him.
Well, I mean, back then.
What, like guys could last longer back then?
Well, I'm talking like a Diddy party goes all night, right? Like those orgies are big.
I've never been invited. I don't know.
Well, I don't know either. I've heard.
Side note on an
so I've been told.
Side note on an orgy. Like, when is enough enough?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I like fucking as much as the next guy.
Yeah.
I'm good after one.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah. Well, and the older you get a little reload time.
Yeah, and MLK was he maybe in his 40s?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude.
Good for him, man.
So, but anyway, so saying these orgies took place, and so in the comment section it says like, "What's your source of this? How do you know?" Chad Jackson, we've talked before about.
That's where I found this one.
Same.
Initially.
So he is, in my opinion, very well read. He does a lot of research. He has been saying for a long time that Martin Luther King is not the person that people think he is. And so he pointed out that, for those of you who are itching to say, oh, so allegedly this document's from the FBI.
Mm-hmm.
So he was on there to say, for the people who are wanting to say, oh, but this is from the FBI, like you can't believe that. He goes on to say that a lot of these facts are corroborated by MLK's closest friend, Ralph Abernathy, who wrote a book in the 80s called "And the Walls Come Tumbling Down." And he was a close confidant and one of like MLK's best friends. And he said that this cross-references, this checks out with a lot of the shit that's written in that book. So he said, regardless of where this comes from, whether it's FBI or not, he said, this is, in his opinion, factual material.
So what's the point? He just liked to have a lot of sex? Like,
well, he surrounded himself with people from the Communist Party that he employed these people and had them go learn to be pastors and give these sermons. And the whole plot was, or concept was, they were going to spread this communist message under the guise of virtue and moral freedom. And it was just part of the Communist Party cause. And that he wasn't this moral beacon of truth, this
like an infiltrator.
He had multiple affairs, I think 2 or 3 affairs on his wife, might have fathered a child with one of the ladies. He had one of his mistress. And the only reason they think that is because her husband was medically sterile, documented sterile. And she ended up having a kid. And they say the kid looked a lot like Martin Luther King. Allegedly, he's helping pay for the kid, or was at the time. So all this, this guy won the, I don't know, what was it? What award did he? The Nobel Peace Prize, or whatever. Didn't he?
I don't know.
Anyway, so he's supposed to be this, beacon of hope and light of mankind, and he's really kind of a degenerate.
Yeah, dude. It says here that he won the Nobel Peace Prize.
Thank you.
To a lot of people,
and the Presidential
that is the
Medal
dream,
of Freedom.
though.
Right?
Get to bang a lot of bitches.
Hey,
dude.
Presidential orgies?
He might have had more than one dream.
Nobel Peace.
I'm just saying,
a couple of wet dreams in there for sure.
I'm just saying, man.
Nobel Peace Prize, Presidential Medal of Freedom, and Congressional Gold Medal.
Yeah, I mean,
MLK.
and let's be real though.
More like ML Gay.
That ain't gay. He's blasting all kind of.
But they were saying there was at these orgies, there was also homosexual activity,
Hey-o.
which at the time, it was a lot more taboo than it is now, and possibly that he was involved in some of those.
Think they got him on video like Diddy?
arenas. Hell no, not in the 50s.
I'm gonna say
Somebody
that.
painting that.
You know the size of a video camera in the 50s?
Yeah.
Don't mind me.
Hold still. Hold.
Yeah.
Yep. Hold still.
Man, MLK wasn't gay.
Why
Hollywood.
are you gay?
Cap, bro. I'm calling cap.
No cap. Yeah, pretty crazy though. If that ends
First
up
of
being
all,
true.
You talk about I don't think that this takes away from his like. Okay, there's a lot of these.
Two things can be true at once.
Very driven world leaders take any fucking president. I'm sure they all got a side piece. Several we know. JFK was same time period. JFK was blasting all kind of bitches in the White House.
Yeah.
They had a fucking secret tunnel to get him out of there.
Yeah.
He was smashing so many. So I mean, I kind of think that's like that type of dude.
I think what people's,
so.
I think the bigger part of this that people would be more concerned about is the Communist Party involvement and ties and employment of people known in the Communist Party. Now, you could easily say like, oh, maybe they believed in his movement and wanted to switch sides, but the conspiracy side of it would say that this is more of an orchestrated deal, that maybe he was still a puppet of something else and he was helping move towards this whole communist movement under the guise of moral freedom.
Why'd they kill him then? Do you think that's going to be in the files too? Like, or do you think there's more to the shooting? Or
so I told John, I'm like, this is all I've seen of this. And I was telling you, this is all I've seen of this. It's just these 3 pages. part of me wonders, like, is this a trickle effect that they're hoping if they just release little bits at a time, people will forget because there's other news? Is there more to this? Is this whole thing in its entirety out there somewhere? I don't know. I tried looking for it and couldn't find it.
Yeah, I don't think that. I think this is some old shit, whether it's fabricated or not. I don't think this is part of the new release because I was kind of thinking like, you have to file the FOIA, the Freedom of Information request,
and that takes time.
And then you have to get it, and they're not quick about that shit.
No,
so there's no way that this came out the day after. I started thinking about that. I couldn't find anything else. I'm like, this can't be.
They got like 45 days or something to come up with a plan to release the files. Like, it's all timestamped. It's going to take a minute.
It's going to take some time. So the more I thought about it, like, this is either fabricated or really old.
Yeah,
it wasn't the new shit.
If it's fabricated, that's pretty funny shit. Like, everybody's talking about MLK again. Let me just spread some shit about him being a fucking sex fiend.
Yeah, but and again, to touch on that, like,
I'm okay with it.
That
for the record,
that Chad Jackson guy, he's pretty educated on these things, in my opinion, just from the information he provides and the sources.
More so than me.
The sources that he cites. I mean, he's not one of those guys who just
shit out of his ass.
He doesn't just make shit up. He quotes books. He cites resources. He'll timestamp. He'll show timestamp documents. So for him to put this on there and say, hey, this is all, you can double check, and corroborate this evidence with this, what was his name, Ralph Abernathy's book. To me, it seems like this is probably factual.
At least to the best of his knowledge.
At least to now.
Yeah.
As of right now.
The King family also said that they requested to be able to view the documents before they were released.
Oh, really?
So I don't know if that maybe because they know shit like this, like, oh fuck, we got to get ahead of daddy being a fucking pervert.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, when I say I'm okay with it, like, I don't think it detracts from his main things that he's known for. Like, so he liked to fuck. I mean, a lot of guys do. I think when you get famous, you
I was gonna say, no, I agree with John on that. Like,
yeah,
I think the legacy is fucking huge, man. Like,
the legacy is huge, but the concern and the fear comes down to why so many Communist Party ties. What is that?
That's a problem.
What does that mean?
I don't think that's a secret. That there's they've talked about that with the Black Panther Party too. There was there was a lot of ties to communist and socialist movements back then. I don't think that they were necessarily in bed together, but they were definitely.
Well, I mean, it sounds like there were.
Sounds like a lot of them were.
quite literally in bed.
Probably had to be a pretty big bed.
I don't think they were figuratively in bed together.
Okay.
But I think that they had a lot of common enemies, so to speak.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So like, hey.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Kind of, yeah. So Adam, play A5. This is Donald Trump.
It's a cool video. Man.
Signing the.
Lastly, sir, we have an executive order ordering the declassification of files relating to the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, and Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
That's a big one. Huh?
That's a big one.
A lot of people are waiting for this for a long time.
Some people say it's the biggest they've seen, not me.
A lot of people are waiting.
So, here's my thing with this.
Yeah.
And everything will be revealed.
That was a crazy thing to say, dude.
Everything will be revealed.
And this part with the pen was awesome.
The pen was dope. That's what I
cool.
liked. Yeah.
Give that to RFK Jr.
Yes, sir.
That's cool.
Fucking badass.
That's a boss move.
Badass fucking moment
So,
right there, dude.
Okay, so there's two things from that. Number one, you hear whoever's speaking, and he is very specific about what this executive order is for.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the assassination of.
Oh,
right?
I must have missed that.
We said
that's what he said.
The executive order to declassify the documents on the assassination of MLK,
that's
JFK, RFK. Right. So you hear him say that, and he signs the executive order, so you know it's going to get released. Like, it is official. That pleases the people. However, I wondered, is this one of those things where they don't show you the whole picture and don't tell you everything related or what it's all about, and they leave too much to draw conclusions because it's going to be specifically ballistics of the assassination?
Oh, you mean
You know
like
what
they
I'm
won't
saying?
include any? They'll give you the evidence, but no conclusions.
They'll tell you everything surrounding the gunshot, where it came from, how many shots were fired, what bullet killed him, and all this, and then go, and that's everything around the assassination. We can't tell you the rest.
Like,
is it going to be kind of a play on words?
Yeah. No, this is what happened, but here's everything that led up to what happened.
But we can't declassify the rest for reasons, because there was that one interview with Kash Patel where he was sitting with Glenn Beck, and Glenn was like, "Hey man, like, is President Trump going to release this?" And Kash is like, "I've seen all the documents." And he's like, "Well, you can't just say that and not tell me what it's about." And he's like, "I can tell you this. You already know everything in there. It's everything that you think. And the reason we can't declassify it, you would never understand. You wouldn't guess. You wouldn't understand or fathom
So what
why
does
we
that
couldn't release
leave
it.
in the
Protect
realm
the
of
smoke.
possibilities? What does that even leave?
Don't know.
Because we've already said some crazy fucking shit talking about this. So what does that leave?
No, so when he says it's everything you think, then you're going to hear that it's everything you think.
Right.
Like, yeah.
But so it's
the
not going to be a
CIA
surprise to
did
people. You're going to see it and go, oh, we knew it. But I feel like it's being set up to where they're not going to give you everything you need for all the
think so, too.
information.
I'm not going to hold my
There's
fucking
going to be
breath.
holes.
Well, I was thinking about there's no way that our government is going to come out and say, hey, we killed him. We did all of it. And
They
here's
might.
The only
this is 60 years later.
Well, that's
like,
the only thing, because I was thinking about the only way they could do that
Everyone's
is
dead.
if they follow it with, but we're not them anymore. This is a different government. That was then. This is now. We promise this time it's different.
So
You know
let
what I
me
mean?
ask you another question. You're president of the United States.
Okay.
God help us all.
We're friends, right? We're friends.
Holy shit.
We're friends. You're in office now.
Yeah.
It's after January 20th. I'm RFK. Do I need you to go public to give me the information that I need to see about that file?
Probably not.
It's not about that. It's not about RFK getting peace. It's about the American people.
yeah,
He
think
wants
it's-
everybody to know.
He wants
Well, and I think
everybody-
we have a right to know as an American people.
But I mean, that's
think
my
so.
point. Is like he's going to give RFK whatever info he wants as he's
RFK
president.
probably already knows, dude.
It's more
More than
about,
likely.
It's more about the American people having
retribution.
trust in their government again.
yeah, it's retribution. And
But that's the
all that.
problem. Is like, is it going to be full trust, or is it going to be just
Well,
enough to
that-
make you think that you can trust us, but you still don't know?
So if it's enough, if I'm the government and I don't want to reveal everything, I'm going to give you enough to make you trust me.
Go away and be quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I mean that makes sense. Like I'm not going to give. But honestly, if you want the American people to have full trust in you again, give them everything you got. Like,
Yeah.
why hold back at this point? It's 60 years later. Nobody's alive. You can say, hey, this was fucked up.
Do you think that there's the possibility of if they release it and they say, hey, it was the CIA that killed him, like, do you think that the next logical move is to disband or rebrand the CIA at that point?
That's what they're trying to do at this very moment.
think
But I'm
they
saying,
are
do you
trying
use
to get
that?
rid
Do
of
you
it.
use that as a stepping stone? And
Fuck
now
yeah, you do.
purposely to get public outrage so you have support to do that.
Just like
Yeah.
the church report in the FBI. Like something came out with this actually fucking played into that random ass podcast I listened to the other day about those guys breaking into.
Oh yeah, the
an
FBI building.
And it wasn't even a field office. It was a draft office they broke into. They were trying to find a report that basically said the FBI was systematically suppressing protesters and like harassing them. They were just looking for files on that. And then something else came out. I can't remember what they called it, but it had like a code word. And these guys went to court over this thing.
You love those code names, huh?
This wasn't even like a project something.
okay.
It was just a word in there. And they're like, in court, they're like, what does this mean? We're not going to tell you. We're not going to tell you. And it wound up coming out later, but that's what led to the whole church report. And they're like, hey, the FBI is in the shadows here. They are completely unregulated. There is no oversight with the FBI whatsoever. So that's when the church report went in and dug up a bunch of other shit. This could do the same thing in modern times.
Yeah.
Get in there, fucking stem to root, fucking redo it. And that's what Kash Patel's talking about doing the FBI. Trump's talked about doing it with the CIA. So yeah, to your point, like, fuck yeah, this could lead to something a little
But
more cleansing in that.
Do you think the reality of that becoming anything different is there, or do you think it just gets it's
How
like
different?
So
How different?
let me give you
Yeah.
an analogy, right? So it's like that restaurant on the corner that never has anybody not there, and then they close it down and grand reopening under new management. It's the same people, but they change the name, and it's the same restaurant. You know what I mean? Like, is it going to be kind of one of those deals?
I don't like.
The corruption has always got a chance to be there.
One thing I think he's really trying to do with the the CIA, the military, the FBI, one of his big things, and I think this was an executive act, was get rid of the DEI, number one.
Yeah.
I think if you can do that part, if you can make a massive change like that to get rid of that bullshit and all those agencies, you've done a good job.
Yeah,
Are you going to get rid of all the corruption? No,
Probably not.
it's a bureaucratic agency that deals in secrets.
right.
No, you're not going to get rid of it. And let's be honest, like a lot of those things should remain secret. Like
Agreed.
I don't need to know
I agree.
what you've done around the world.
I agree.
Sometimes I just want to know that America's safe.
Yeah, we've talked about that before.
Yeah.
Like, we kind of wish it would go back to being more secretive. Like, don't tell me all the shit that's going on.
Yeah,
Just
like,
handle business.
I don't need to know. Like,
Yeah.
do I want you killing our presidents? Nope.
Right.
But yeah, sometimes we just don't need to know.
Yeah.
Are we safe in America? Is America prospering? Can I put food on the table?
Yeah.
Can I enjoy raising my children without worrying about fucking nuclear war? That's what I want.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens with that, man. That was a big one. That was pretty interesting.
Part of me expects it to be kind of like the Epstein files, where like it's supposed to be this big thing that comes
They
out.
still
and then
never released all of those.
and then you still don't see it. It's happening. It's just a slow process, trickle effect. We'll throw out a couple names.
They came out with like 10
people
pages.
you don't know. Yeah.
They came out like 10 pages, and
Yeah.
then that was it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
One thing he did too was like, I don't know how familiar you are with Ross Ulbricht, the creator of Silk Road.
I was gonna say he's the Silk Road guy.
He's a Silk Road
So
guy.
Silk Road was like the dark web, like trading
to my
port,
understanding,
right?
So
Like, you go buy and sell on it,
Yeah,
right?
so basically Ross Ulbricht is a libertarian dude, and he doesn't like the government interference with everything, collecting taxes every fucking turn you take. So basically he opened up this portal to the dark. This is like the original dark web.
Yeah, I remember hearing about it.
And it was Silk Road. Originally, it was supposed to be where you could conduct transactions peer-to-peer. It was done with through Tor and using Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Like, that was the thing. It was supposed to be untraceable, right? It turned into a pretty big... And one of his... He was okay with people trading drugs on it.
Yeah, but it wasn't just drugs. Like, it got to be pretty dark from my understanding. Like, you could buy fucking organs and like...
sex, all that stuff.
Yeah, people. Yeah.
But there were rules on it. Like, you couldn't sell, I think, it was like firearms, like no exploitation of minors. And
yeah, you had to go through Wayfair for that.
Right.
Ouch.
You had to bid on the ottoman.
Yeah.
So some argue too, like the ethical or maybe the moral standing of this versus like an open air drug market where like, hey, I meet you in a dark alley and you fucking stab me to take my $20.
Right.
Or are we trading drugs through Bitcoin? Everything's fair, it's safe, like shit like that. So anyway, the government basically decided they were going to make an example of them. And they said, basically it came down to you are the drug kingpin. You who opened this website and has nothing to do with trafficking drugs here whatsoever. You are the drug kingpin. They actually even convicted him on a lot of shady shit. They were able to trace Bitcoin, which everyone thought was untraceable.
Yeah.
They did that. They broke into servers illegally, a lot of shit like that. So basically, even the whole case against him was built fraudulently on the government's side. But then they said, since you're the drug kingpin, we've convicted you now, and you are serving 2 life sentences plus 40 years.
Damn.
For opening a website.
That's a long time.
For a website.
Yeah.
That's kind of like saying...
Meta. Sorry, Zuck.
Meta or the owner of Verizon. Like, hey, people use a lot of Verizon phone numbers to...
Nextel. All your pagers that were exploding?
Yep.
Sorry, dude.
So the owner of that, like you said, Zuckerberg, people have traded drugs on Facebook Marketplace. You're going to jail 2 life sentences plus 40 years. Not happening to Zuck, but that's what they did to Ross Ulbricht.
Yeah. And
Trump pardoned him. Fucking full pardon.
I think that's cool.
It is. It's absolutely cool because the dude did nothing wrong other than open a website.
Yeah.
And I mean,
but John, with great power comes great responsibility. You know what I mean?
I think
I heard that somewhere
Where
before.
have I?
Is that a thing? Or did I just make that up?
Morgan Freeman.
I think I just made that up.
Okay, let's go with that.
With great power comes.
Or
we should put that
Spider-Man.
on a T-shirt or something.
Who's
I think that was Uncle Ben and
sorry,
Spider-Man.
just Spider-Man?
Spider-Man.
Uncle?
I've never heard of that. What is that?
Sam Spider-Man.
Sam Spider-Man. I've never heard of that. I've
Guy
never heard
from
of her.
upstate New
Yeah,
York.
no, Mr. and Mrs. Spider-Man.
Never heard of
Spider-Man,
her.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Like I'm not Spider-Man. It's not my last name. I'm a Spider-Man. So yeah, there's a lot of ethics involved in that, but basically that was an insane fucking abuse of power on the government's behalf. The story is actually pretty deep if you ever choose to get into it, but so he freed him. I thought that was pretty fucking cool.
I just remember, I'm not going to say names, obviously, but like early on in my career, I worked at a station with a dude who knew about Silk Road and how to get on there and would buy shit on there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. On the job.
Like, what would he buy?
Was it a guy that got incarcerated?
No.
Oh, no. So he's free.
Dodged it.
What did he
good for
buy,
him.
Steven?
I don't know. I'm assuming some sort of drugs or something. I'm sure. I think it was probably drugs.
So be it. Like, if you're going to buy drugs, like, you might as well buy it where it's safe, I guess.
From a trusted source.
From a trusted source.
I mean, I guess that's the question, though. It's the dark web. Like, is this source trusted?
I'm not
They
gonna
have
say
a
it's
website,
trusted,
Steve.
Okay.
Fair enough.
But here's the thing: it's like you're not gonna fucking steal my $20 from me when I come.
Yeah,
to buy
I don't have to worry about getting
you.
shanked while Okay.
If you're gonna buy drugs, you might as well not get shanked.
I want to.
That's
my goal.
That's the tagline of Silk Road. Actually,
Oh.
that's their.
I also
believe it.
Mission
decided
statement.
to. I want MAGA make America great again. I want a hat that says "Make dime bags $10 again."
Ooh.
Yeah. So there's the Ross Ulbricht. I thought that was pretty cool. They were able to actually pass the Lincoln Riley Act. So Adam, that's like a whatever. So basically, it's the Lincoln Riley Act's proposed U.S. law renamed after Lincoln Riley, a 22-year-old nursing student from Georgia who was tragically killed in February 2024 by an individual who entered the country illegally. So the bills guaranteed garnered bipartisan support with 46 Democrats in the House. Why couldn't have been all of them?
Because there's some bleeding heart who didn't like
Fucking
the
idiots,
language
dude.
because it would affect people who are here illegally who have not done anything bad. I would imagine.
Whatever, suck it.
Hit the nail right on the head.
Basically,
So,
even Fetterman said, like, if we can't agree to get rid of illegal immigrants that are criminals, like,
Yeah.
we're broken. This is broken.
We're so broken.
Fetterman,
somebody
Fetterman's
calls-
an idiot.
Somebody said he
got
looks
it.
like Shrek the other day, and I can't
Dude,
get
he
it out of my
It
head.
does.
So yeah, critics, however, they argue that it undermines the due process rights and lacks necessary funding for implementation. We have all the funding in the fucking world.
What due process rights do illegal immigrants have? I don't fucking get it.
They don't. They're not
So,
U.S. citizens.
in layman's terms, what does this do, John? What does this mean?
Basically, if you've committed a crime in the U.S., you're gone.
Like, if you're not here legally, you commit a crime, just adios.
Yeah.
Yes.
I chose that language arbitrarily.
What is the deal with that?
Are your dogs singing?
Oh my god!
Damn,
there's no doubt that there's got to be a siren nearby. I guarantee you hear that on the mic
going
now
on
that you're
down
listening to this.
Wow, I've never heard them howl like that.
Neither have I.
Yeah. Are they okay?
I think it's a siren.
Oh, it's definitely, the mics are definitely picking that up.
Do you need to go check on them?
No, they're fine. So it also no, it's guaranteed they're hear a siren.
Okay.
It also empowers state attorneys general to sue the federal government for failures in immigration enforcement.
Nice.
Good.
Yeah, that's
So
pretty
when you
good.
get these governors or these mayors or whoever who don't want to play that because their state does it different and they want to harbor and house these people, they can go after them.
It empowers state attorney generals. So if something happens
Good.
in your state, like here in Arizona,
But the state attorney general has to be on board with that, right?
Yes.
I mean,
but like say it happened in Texas where they are on board with that, and you can now sue that they're handicapping future presidents, saying if they're not enforcing immigration law, then they can be sued by the state.
that's awesome.
Which is fucking fantastic.
Fucking good, dude.
So
But is that only good for 4 years? Like once the next president gets in, can they
Probably. That's-
repeal that?
that's the problem with these things, man. It's good for 4 years.
But at least, yeah. I mean, the guy putting it in action isn't going to be the one affected by it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It looks good. Sounds
I
good.
hope it just makes sense, dude.
Yeah.
It just makes sense. Like, and if you can't get on board with that, you're fucking broken,
Yeah.
dude. There's something wrong with your
Yeah.
brain. And is it just because Trump said it? Like, no, this is,
That's got to be it, man.
you can't
Yeah.
have these people in the country. Like,
It makes no sense.
and
Logically.
people argue, especially people like AOC, saying that immigrants commit crime at a lower rate than citizens. Okay, fine. Let's say that's true. We got enough crime of our fucking own. We
Right,
don't need,
we don't need
importing
extra.
it.
Yeah.
We don't need extra shit.
No shit.
And if you've committed a crime here, you have to go.
Yeah.
You don't get to like here's your court date. We'll see you in 8 months, sweetie. Like,
Well, and
no,
the
you're
most
fucking
interesting
gone.
part of that is coming here illegally, you've already committed a crime.
right off the bat, you're a
Like,
criminal.
you're already, technically,
So-
you're already a
And
criminal.
think about the argument that the left has had for the last X amount of years. Like everybody should have the opportunity to come for a better life.
Cool.
and they do have the
Okay.
opportunity. We
Follow
have-
the rules.
But if you get here illegally and you commit a crime, that is not a better life for anybody.
Well,
like,
and you know, that
you're
doesn't-
fucking gone.
That doesn't necessarily mean that our immigration system is perfect. Like maybe we look
Of
at
course it's not.
maybe we look at that, but what it does mean is in the meantime, you
Yeah.
can't break the rules. We'll figure it out, we'll make it better, but in the meantime, rules are rules. You know
There's
what I mean?
Take a dose of act right.
we should have the resources to expedite the immigration process, get
Yeah.
people citizenship if they want it. They've been
Sure.
vetted. Like JD Vance was on Face the Nation, and they were
Oh, it
talking.
was great.
Yeah, he's just
He's
fantastic
awesome.
at dealing with these
Yeah.
people.
Fuck
He's-
yeah, he is.
These left-leaning people that try to troll him, like he's amazing. But basically, they were talking about people that come here, they've been vetted, and he brought up one instance like this person was supposedly vetted, and they've killed people, and they're saying, well, we don't know if he was radicalized before he got here. After he's like,
Doesn't
frankly,
matter.
He said, frankly, I don't care. I don't want them living in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's great.
No one does.
And that's the thing, man. If we let in 1,000 people and 2 of them end up committing an act of terrorism,
Bye.
like
That's too many.
it's too many. Thank you. It's like that whole thing with the apartment complexes.
Yeah.
They're like, well, you
Oh,
know,
sorry, it's only
it's
one or
only
two.
2%
Yeah.
of it. Okay, well, that was another Vance quote, wasn't it?
Yes.
That was his interview.
JD Vance is fantastic.
Fucking awesome, dude.
And I love the fact that he just came up and said, he's like, I don't want them in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like just
he
say it
said
out loud.
he said what everybody's thinking,
Exactly.
but no one wants to say.
Nobody
Yeah.
wants
And it's not even that
I don't
bad.
care, Margaret. It was fucking
Yeah.
badass.
He is so fucking great with that stuff.
Good for him.
I can't I'm happy to see this next 4 years through, but I want JD Vance running for president
I
in
think
4
they're
years.
teeing him up for it, dude. I
Good.
think that's the
He's
plan.
great.
Side note, I'm gonna jump in here, John, real quick, if you don't mind. Jordan and I were talking this morning. She brought up a brilliant point. She goes, did you notice that nobody really seems to care that JD Vance's wife is not a white lady, and she's technically the first like Indian woman of color, whatever you want to call it, second lady of the United States. And for the liberals are so,
and no one's even pointed
they're
it
so
out or
hell bent
celebrated
on all
it.
their milestones for everything. Like, not that we give a shit, but
Yeah.
like, here's a milestone for you, and nobody gives a fuck about it.
It only matters if you share the same politics.
Exactly. I just thought I would throw that in there. I thought it was interesting that she brought that up this morning.
If she was a Democrat, we'd be fucking all over that shit.
Mm-hmm.
But she's not. Republican.
Dumb.
So fucking dumb. So kind of tying on to the immigration thing, like he's been like there's a couple things that tie into it. So they're sending troops to the border right now. Adam, at whatever link that is. So they're sending. He signed an order to put 10,000 active duty troops to the border.
I'm looking. Oh, here we go.
There you go. So 10,000 active duty troops to the border. There's an initial wave of 1,500 with 500 Marines coming from Camp Pendleton.
Is that mostly in Texas?
So California, I know to start with.
Okay.
And I'm assuming Texas as well, and Arizona. It's the border. I don't know where these initial 1,500 are going, how they're going to be displaced or dispersed. But they said we're treating this the way we do any other national emergency. Said we have magazines inserted. They're loaded. If cartels fired us, we will fire back.
Good.
Said don't be surprised if you see Marines getting inserted in helicopters in the next couple days.
Wow.
Holy fuck.
I'm like, Jesus. All right.
Whoa.
Well, that's a step in securing the border.
Yes.
I say what you want about Donald Trump, and I told this to Tammy the other day, is like, I talked a lot of shit about him because on his, when he was hitting the trail trying to get elected, everything is like, I'm taking care of this on day one. This is going to be a day one priority.
Yeah.
I'm doing that on day one. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. You're not doing all this on day one. It might not have been day one, but it was day
week
two.
One.
It was day 2 or
Yeah.
3.
Definitely
That
first
dude has
couple
been
days.
busy.
Yeah.
So these are one of those things. He made a promise. He's keeping the promise. He is securing the border.
Without asking you to sound like a bleeding heart, what are your thoughts about like our troops, the safety of our men and women, like going to do something like this versus like a war-torn, faraway land? Like, do you worry about like the safety of our men and women in this type of battle scenario, or do you think this is something
Versus another one?
versus like Iraq?
I would say it's infinitely safer than being in Afghanistan.
I would
or
assume
Iraq.
so. I would assume so. But again, not having been military, I was just curious your thoughts on
I would
that.
say they're infinitely safer, number one, because you're not dealing with an invading force.
Yeah.
You're not trying to take territory from a native force. Like, you are just securing our border. Having said that, I just saw a thing on the news this morning. I think it was out of San Antonio maybe. But they're finding IEDs on the border. They're telling like, hey, people, don't touch this. Don't look at that. Like, maybe not big ones, but they are improvised explosive
fuck somebody
devices
up,
finding on the border. So if that's the case, then yes, we need military on the border. If you're putting IEDs there for any reason whatsoever, we need. Is that a plant to say like, hey, this is why we need military on the border? Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. But if you don't have a secure border, you don't have a country.
I agree.
You just don't. We've said that 100 times. Yeah. And so putting troops on the border, I love the visuals of it just because like we're not putting up with the shit anymore. Like you can't just come over here by the tens of thousands every day. Like it's not happening anymore. Yeah. We have
Fuck yeah.
That's right.
We have to be able to vet every single person that comes through those borders. And are we going to get some of them wrong? Are they going to fool some of us? Are a couple terrorists going to get through because their cover was that good? Yep, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
There are a couple actually going to sneak through? Yes. But
and
we
that gives
have
us an
to
opportunity.
try.
But that also gives us an opportunity to like anything, see the holes and what's not working and revamp our process and constantly evolve it to make it better.
Mm-hmm. And I've said this before too. Like, I think they will intentionally let some bad guys in to see where they go. Like, hey, we got to root out. Like, they're going somewhere.
Yeah, we've talked about that before.
Them. Yeah, so you're probably going to lose track. Is everything going to be perfect? Absolutely not. And I hope nobody expects it to be perfect. But this is a damn good first step.
But the wheels are in motion.
Exactly. Yeah. I like that. And so they've been rounding up people. We talked about them prioritizing criminals all throughout the country. That known criminals, they're already rounding them up by the hundreds. I think maybe even the thousands at this point. And they just put some on a plane to Colombia.
Yep.
Adam, pull up the next slide. So basically, we found a bunch of criminals in Colombia, and we put them on a military plane to Colombia, and those planes were turned around. The president of Colombia said he suggested, or let's see, basically he was saying that we are treating immigrants of Colombia as prisoners or as criminals, and that we need to come up with a better process of getting them basically back to the country. And then Trump said, okay, I am now going to implement 25% tariffs on all goods from Colombia.
Yep.
He said, and if this continues, next week it'll be 50%.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, literally the same day, the president of Colombia said, all right, I'm sending my own plane to get him. And he fucking did it.
So
and this isn't some bullshit. Like this is on any news channel.
So
you
check this out. So that in addition to the tariffs, he had a travel ban and immediate visa revocations for the Colombian government officials that were here. Visa sanctions on all party members, family members, and supporters of the Colombian government. And they said that he was golfing. They had a video of him making the call. He was on hole 2. And by hole 8, an hour later, everything had been reversed. Like, that's a fucking G move.
Feels
dude.
good to have some power in the world again, doesn't it?
Or just the balls to do what you said you're going to do and do. It's like, no, I said we're doing this. I'm not going to play these stupid political games.
Fuck
He
around
made
and
the
find
call
out,
while
bro.
golfing, and by hole 8, it had been reversed.
Fuck Colombia.
Now, are you going to be
They're
able to do that to
pussies.
Russia and China?
No, probably not.
But we're going to do it to everybody we can because it is the right thing to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, there are games you're going to have to play with the much larger countries. Like,
Sure.
okay, this is a little more teeted. But Colombia, like, okay, it's bad enough that you're sending cocaine all the way up here to the fucking
But it's nice
borders.
to see, like, in sporting terms, it's nice to see us not play down with a lesser power. Like, let's stay at the top
Exactly.
and just crush that one because
We're not
we
playing down to our
can.
competition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we're going to stay right up at the top.
Exactly. So I thought that was a total fucking boss
Yeah.
move. I
Oh,
love
yeah.
it.
That's how it should be.
Exactly.
Let's stop fucking around.
Adam, the next slide is the government's coming up with this deal to buy TikTok with Oracle. They're putting this plan together. So the administration of the U.S. president is actively negotiating a plan to save TikTok involving Oracle and a group of outside investors to take control of the app's operations. Under the proposed deal, ByteDance, the China-based owner of TikTok, would retain a minority stake while Oracle would oversee data collection and software updates to address national security concerns. Despite law mandating ByteDance to divest, TikTok temporarily went offline in the U.S. but resumed service in a couple of months, blah, 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 blah. Basically, the deal anticipates participation from ByteDance's U.S. investors, with Oracle expected to monitor TikTok's operations. So basically, you're going to have TikTok, but Oracle is going to be in charge of all the data collection. So ideally, you get the best of both worlds. You get TikTok's algorithm, which is what people love. That's why they go to TikTok. And then we're not going to have China basically spying on us.
So there's, and I don't know specifically because this is also Stargate AI project.
Stargate will be next. We'll talk about that.
Oh, okay. Sorry, go ahead. I just saw Stargate on there and I thought that was, yeah, I mean, that's good. It sounds good in theory. I think the Stargate thing is got a little got some people up in arms, and I think that needs to be talked about.
Okay, so Adam, pull up A1. So we can talk about Stargate. Let's talk about it. Let's hear what Trump has to say.
Yeah.
Together, these world-leading technology giants are announcing the formation of Stargate. So put that name down in your books, because I think
Then
you're
your
gonna
pipe
hear
and smoke
a lot
it.
about it
You love,
in the
gotta love
future.
it,
A
man.
new American company that will invest $500 billion at least in AI infrastructure in the United States, and very, very quickly, moving very rapidly, creating over 100,000 American jobs almost immediately. As you know, there's great competition for AI and other things, and they're coming in at the highest level. We're joined by Oracle Executive Chairman Larry Ellison, SoftBank CEO, my friend Masa Yoshi-san, and CEO of OpenAI, and I would say the by far the leading expert based on everything I read, Sam Altman. So that's great that you're coming.
I'm coming.
So there's a lot going on there. So, like, let's say right off the bat, everyone talked about Elon being so heavily involved with Trump in the White House and decision making. If they thought Trump was just going to specifically cater to Elon, like, this should show you that that's not the case, because Elon is in direct competition with Sam Altman and OpenAI and seems to hate him. They seem to hate each other a little bit. So he's taking directly food out of Elon's mouth, putting it over here into this Stargate project, which involves OpenAI, Oracle, SoftBank, and MGX. Like, those are your main partners in there. What are your thoughts about it?
So the thing I read was that the Stargate AI project was going to basically help create cancer mRNA vaccine.
That's one Larry Ellison, who's involved with Oracle. He's talked about that.
Right.
Personalized mRNA vaccines.
So
That's not necessarily Stargate, but that is one of the projects Oracle is working on.
the Stargate AI project is could potentially be
Could
working on.
potentially help. Yes.
So I've got a couple, I mean, I can see both ways, right? Like we've talked about the possibility and the capability of AI to diagnose, do all these different things, right? The lady who plugged in the information about her kid in AI and said, oh, it's this, have the radiologist check for this. And so they went and re-looked at the x-ray after one doctor said he was fine. These supercomputers processing these, these problems and equations that would take 500,000 years for a normal computer, and they're doing it in a week. The medical side of that and being able to advance at such a speed is great. But I think the mRNA vaccine, just the concept itself, like with the whole COVID thing, like everything I've read says like all these Make America Healthy Again supporters should feel like they're being stabbed in the back, because this whole messenger RNA thing of rewriting the script in your, replicating in your DNA is not a good thing.
I'll offer a little pushback on that, because I think a lot of the people that dislike mRNA vaccines, like they might have their reasons and there might be some rooted in science or not. But I think the biggest thing about the mRNA vaccine is it was essentially forced on us.
Right.
This is optional.
True.
If you're dying of cancer, you might want this.
An experimental deal.
Because he cites specifically mRNA vaccines to fight against cancer.
Yeah.
Personalized, not just hey, here's one for butt cancer, here's one for tit cancer.
Right.
Not that. It's like
specifically
this
for
is
you.
for Steve's butt cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, if you're dying, like, yeah, I'm gonna roll the dice, dude.
I don't have butt cancer.
I was gonna say, just to be clear,
for the record, that I know of.
Yeah. Okay. That you know. If you had leukemia last week,
luckily the health center redid my blood draw and told me that I don't.
That's good. But I mean,
you didn't hear about that?
No.
Oh,
what?
That's that's an offline conversation.
Yeah.
Damn.
But yeah, I think that's, if you want to take it, cool. So I mean,
I think you hit the nail on the head. The fact that it's going to be optional, and
another tool in the toolbox to fight a deadly
I would
disease.
imagine, just to counteract the people who are against this, is there's going to be a lot more testing and probably trial phase and work that goes into this than just saying, hey, let's call it Operation Warp Speed, do it as fast as we can and just get it to everybody now. This is probably going to be a very lengthy research project.
Yeah, I would assume. And honestly, AI could accelerate.
Could speed it up, for sure.
It could speed it up.
For sure.
I mean, who knows? These vaccines could be done in weeks now. There's so many things that I see involving AI, like, hey, this took, I think I might even have one of the things about it. Yeah, it's about a chip manufacturer using AI. We'll talk about that in a minute.
What about, didn't Putin come out and say they had a cure for cancer?
Yeah, a couple months
ago. I
ago.
did hear that.
He said
same thing. I believe they said it was a cancer vaccine, and it might have even been an mRNA vaccine for cancer.
Because they were saying if you need a cure for cancer, come here. We have it.
Come to Russia. We'll cure your cancer.
That's the thing with Russian. Like, if they're using AI, they do not have anywhere near the computing. Like, apparently this is all driven by fucking energy and computing power, and they just don't have it right now.
Yeah,
I think it's nuclear energy they're going after.
They're using
AI
because it's more efficient. Nuclear energy has been, always will be more efficient than what we have now. Just tapping into the grid. All of these companies, Microsoft, Meta, Alphabet, they're all building their own mini nuclear reactors specifically for this. So I mean, they've already started construction on the first data center in Abilene, Texas. So like that's already happening right now. And when they talk about these, hey, it's going to be 100,000 jobs for Americans. Like, I've heard, and this makes a lot of sense, that a lot of those are temporary construction jobs. It's not like, hey, Steve, you got a job,
they're fully employed, 100,000.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm sure there has to be fully employed people. Like, these data centers aren't just going to be fucking.
But it's not 100,000 fully employed.
Correct.
Okay.
And I mean, hey, construction jobs are great too. Like, don't discount that. I mean, those are going to be multi-year projects, just like we've seen with TSMC.
Yeah.
How long has that been? 5 years? They've been building that shit. So those dudes have been employed for 5 years, which is awesome. So that's one thing. More tech partners included in the Stargate are going to be Microsoft, NVIDIA, Oracle. I think I already mentioned Oracle, but yeah, like all the big players are going to be involved in this. Elon Musk has pushed back. He went to X and fired off saying that they don't have the funding for this. SoftBank only has 10 billion that they can put in. And Sam Altman comes back, is like, you're wrong. Like, they're going back and forth on X.
Yeah.
These two don't like each other. Elon's just, so I don't know if that's going to cause a rift between Trump and Elon.
Yeah.
Maybe. But like I said, Trump's just not going to be all Elon. He's making deals that are going to make America great.
Again.
There are so many videos that I've been watching on this. I don't even think I could begin to describe them. I should just link them all at some point. But how AI is you have to have superiority in AI if you want to have a dominant United States. Like, you just cannot let China win this race. Right now, they're neck and neck, maybe even surpassing in some areas. But the things that are costing us $10 billion to make, they're doing it for $10 million just because of regulations and things like that. I can't remember the guy's name. He was one of the founders of Facebook. He was part of the initial what is it called when you go public?
Oh,
I can't remember the IPO.
Go
IPO.
public?
He was a part of the initial IPO of Facebook, but he was talking about all these regulations and how China's able to do this so much faster and cheaper. He's like, at some point, like, that's going to catch up with us. Like, I'm not a big deregulation guy, but for some things that are going to cause America to be more secure, have superiority, like, people hear American superiority and think you're some asshole. Like, I don't want my kids growing up in Turkey or Iran or fucking China. I want them to grow up in the United States that I grew up in.
And then for the people who think you're an asshole, they should go try that and see
exactly.
if you're really an asshole for thinking that way.
Don't want my family living in any other type of authoritarian regime. I want them living in the United States, and therefore I want United States to remain the United States on top dog.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a bad thing with this OpenAI or the Stargate project. I mean, we'll wait and see. But a lot of people say that, hey, this is just more concentration of power and concentration of wealth at the top, which, I mean, it's hard to argue that, right?
Yeah. It's almost like a shinier version of a monopolization of that whole thing.
It is. It's like the whole...
It sounds good, looks good. It's brand new.
Yeah, it's like Carnegie and all those guys, the steel magnets back in the day, like these titans of industry. There were like 6
There's no one else.
Now it's tech. It's 6 of these people. So, I mean, I'm cautiously optimistic, I guess. But, I mean, I see everything just going right to the top here. I worry about what's going to happen to everybody at the bottom when it comes to this wealth. There's a lot of things to worry about with AI, but for now, I'll just say, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
With Stargate.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah. That's all I had for the rundown.
That's a good rundown, dude.
Adam didn't even do the punchy.
I didn't know we were doing it.
The rundown.
Well, I said let's get into the rundown.
Well,
nothing came.
I'm gonna press.
Come on, you have a new soundbite.
The rundown.
That's funny.
The rundown. All right. So that's it. So that's all I got.
Well, I got
tech and
I got tech.
Yeah.
I got tech.
Let's
and,
go.
And then the Fireside, man. That's all I got.
All right.
So in tech, I have B4 Adam. I have some more
Heyo.
We need to do like
Chinese
tech
propaganda.
and science.
Yeah, more Chinese propaganda for Johnny.
Speaking of Chinese propaganda,
Yeah.
This one is a wild one because it said Chinese workers are demand. I can't remember how they phrased it, but basically they're forced to play for 6 hours out of a 12-hour shift. And they showed these.
How
guys.
dare they?
I
They're
know.
so upset. Yeah,
But
their play though is like doing like all the gymnastics, like hanging from the bar and doing core.
But basically, their big thing was like, look at the great working conditions that they have here in China. They're forced to
so
play.
horrible.
Dude.
They have to take 2-hour lunch breaks.
That's so fun.
Yeah, so B4 Adam, this is a drone with an attached tentacle arm to it, similar to an octopus. And so this is at normal speed. This is not sped up. It's able to grab. So basically, researchers at the University of Science and Technology of China have developed a soft robotic manipulator inspired by the octopus's arm. So it utilizes an algorithm with a spiral design, or I'm sorry, a logarithmic spiral design, allows it to fully contract on itself and then expand, allows it to articulate and bend and actually catch things. So it can so it weighs approximately 10 kilograms, so about 20, 25 pounds, and it can lift up to 260 times its own weight.
Wow.
So this one's attached to a drone. They show it lifting a bucket and flying, but you can articulate this and control. And the first thing I thought of was, do you remember when Amazon was going to be delivering packages by drones? Like, is this what it's just going to be this
They're already
octopus?
They're doing
But I'm saying
it,
like this, is that the application for
future?
this? The
You know what that reminds me of? It reminds me
Is it safe to talk about on air?
Uh-oh.
Oh, okay.
I've talked about everything.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true.
It looks like number one of those things from the Matrix, the Sentinels,
Yeah.
and also that alien sighting over a couple of
Oh,
what do
the
they call
black
it?
and white video.
Yeah,
Not,
it's a
not Go Fast. It was
Oh,
the other one.
It's not the. It's
Is it the
just
one
recently.
that going through the Afghanistan base where it's just floating and it's got the tentacles hanging down?
That's,
Yeah.
that's that.
Maybe it was this.
Maybe it's been around. They're just releasing it to the public.
That's what I'm saying. Like if they're showing it, to
That was a
you-
drone with tentacles on it.
Chinese drone with
Yeah?
tentacles. because they are so much more superior. And
Yeah, so anyway, I saw
China.
that. I just thought it was kind of neat. The picture that accompanied that, I didn't link it, but before it looked like kind of like the Sentinel from.
that's exactly what it reminds. The first thing is like, wait, that's the Sentinel from the Matrix.
Yeah, and then the other thing I had was this is kind of cool. B5 Adam. So this dude created.
Remember when you were a kid and those balls you would sit on and bounce?
Yeah.
That's what that looks like to me.
For whatever reason, my
That's
notion is
crazy.
not.
Oh, that's the bat bike.
This
with
is the
omnidirectional.
Omnibike.
Yeah, the omnidirectional.
So
ball.
this guy's name is James Bruton. He's a renowned inventor. He's developed an innovative omnidirectional ball-wheeled bike. So this is a motorcycle that is self-stabilizing. It stays vertical. It can travel in all directions because its wheels are complete spheres.
It's Batman's bike.
And it's literally
Yeah.
like they're held by a gyroscopic motor, but I want to say they're like brush motors, so they hold it in place and it can spin in all directions. But he's just zipping around forward, back, side to side, diagonal, rotating all around. So this is a prototype for
That's cool as shit.
a futuristic motorcycle.
Super cool.
It's pretty badass.
They start putting those in cars too, man.
Maybe our bike teams can get those and just roll
Parallel
around
park
the
like a
airport.
motherfucker.
Dude.
Dude, that's cool.
So yeah. Anyway, pretty cool.
You remember Batman's bike where he got hit and was like side
Oh
swiped
yeah,
and the bike just
the rumble wheel, like the wheels.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that one's like a
exactly
little
what
bit
that
better,
is.
better version than that.
yeah.
Yeah, suck it, Batman.
My Notion is glitching out.
Is it?
Yeah, that's all I got for tech.
Oh no. So I've got tech, Adam. It might be like 8, 9, 10, something. It's AI design chips.
Yeah.
Is this with the brain cells?
No.
Oh, okay.
So basically, Princeton and IIT, I don't know what IIT is. IIT researchers have developed an AI that designs wireless chips faster and with superior performance using patterns that humans can't comprehend. So this is published in Nature Communications. The AI-generated design transforms weeks of engineering work into mere hours.
How can we not comprehend
We
the
are
design?
so fucked.
Continue. So creating complex, seemingly random structures that deliver unprecedented performance. Lead researcher Kashek Sangog notes that while humans struggle to you try to pronounce this fucking name.
I was not ready for that.
While humans struggle to understand these designs, they excel precisely because of their unpredictability, echoing a 1990s experiment where AI created circuits that relied on mysterious, disconnected components. Although human oversight still needed to catch occasional non-functional elements, these breathtaking hints at future AI not only automates things, but re-engineers in principles we just can't understand. So basically, they are able to figure out designs that like we just can't think of. So it reminds me like the old adage, like, why do you paint the fence white? Like, because that's just the way we've always done it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, surely there must be deeper. Yeah, my grandpa used to do it. Grandpa's great grandpa.
Yeah.
Everyone
It's
just
because I
painted
ran
it-
out of red.
And then yeah, exactly. Then they ask
Yeah.
great grandpa, it's like, oh yeah, we just ran out of red paint, so we
Yeah.
painted it white. So we can't comprehend because this is the way we've always done
Yeah.
it. This is the way the engineers before me did it, and so on and so forth. And
This is the way the math leads it to be.
yeah, AI is like, no, we can do it this way. And it takes weeks of work and condenses into hours.
Spoiler alert, John. You ready for this?
Yes,
Your theory of time travel is correct.
I know it is.
AI figures out how to manipulate these chips and do whatever and create the time travel, and they send every fucking human back in time. That's the Mandela effect time loop.
Egyptian
we only
technology,
hit a
dude.
certain point as humans, and then
we go
AI
back
sends us fucking back.
Well, at some
to
point,
kill John Connor.
at some point, we're going to reach that convergence then, right?
Not if we keep getting sent back. Well, I mean, we will. Yeah, we'll see it
Yeah,
at some point, and then we'll get
exactly.
sent back.
Maybe.
What is that? What is that movie where they get to a certain point and they die and then just right back to the reset?
The Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow.
With Tom
Yeah,
Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
Fucking
Yeah.
sweet movie,
That is a
dude.
cool movie. But yeah, like I've said it before,
Dude.
like I think we're the aliens. We
Yeah,
go back and like
or we become the aliens.
the supposed crashed alien things that they've been working on with what's our boy's name?
Laszlo,
Lazarus,
Laz something? Bob Lazarus, Lasley.
Yes, Lazarus.
I don't know.
Laz.
Lazar.
You guys don't know
Lazar.
Laz?
Bob Lazar.
We were close. Bob
So
Lazar.
Bob Lazar said they had these things and they could not comprehend how they worked.
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
So just like AI,
This is the chip
Oh my
created
God,
by AI.
What if it's us,
maybe
dude?
that's what I've been saying.
What if it's us?
We are the aliens. We've
always
point in
been
the
the
future,
aliens.
It's a futuristic us.
We've come back. It's
Holy
future us.
shit.
Yes, absolutely it is.
And
Okay, I believe in your
because we
theory
have
now.
retrieval.
Okay.
What
I
if
didn't
we,
until today.
we have retrieval programs? What if we're not disclosing that to the public because it's just people in there, dude?
Well, we have disclosed to the public that we have retrieval programs. They have a governmental
But what I'm saying
UAP
is-
retrieval program.
What I'm saying is, what if they don't tell us what they've retrieved because they've retrieved people.
Yeah.
And that would
They
freak
say it's
everybody the
non-human
fuck
intelligence.
out. Well, that's the AI part, but
Well,
there's
we've-
also human intelligence.
Hey,
Those are the
Biologic
pilots.
material.
There was a story that I put out that
Fucking
there was
crazy.
one doctor talking about the path we're currently on with technology and all these things, that our body will continue to morph, specifically talking about our eyes and our skin tone and our brain size. It's going to look different. So maybe they're humanoid things that they've captured. They look like humans, but like
Big
kind of
head-
like
the big
like
head,
if we
big
lived
eyes,
underground, what we would look
gray ass
like.
aliens,
maybe,
dude.
or like how Neanderthals were to us. Like, hey, they're so much bigger. Or they have these giant block heads. Like, it's just evolution.
Holy fuck, dude! It's
But in
us.
our evolved
I believe in
state,
John's theory now.
I'm sold.
I made fun of Johnny Sir. I believe in
Yeah,
Johnny
me
I
Sir.
too.
have to publish my
I'm
theory.
sold. You better write.
You better
that,
do it quick before
better
somebody
write
else
that
does,
book before
like
someone
everything
goes
else you
back
do.
in time and writes it for you.
Here's the thing about me. I'm an idea
You're
guy.
an idea guy. We've covered this.
If somebody wants the idea, come
Yeah.
to me. I literally
Somebody who wants to write this down and publish this. Let's
I've
do
got
it.
like a 3-page manifesto if you want to come read it.
Oh,
it's
boy.
incredible.
Don't start talking about
Hey,
manifestos.
don't start throwing the manifesto
Yeah.
around,
Whoa,
dude.
3-page
For the record, he's happy. He's not depressed.
theory?
Not going to kill himself.
Theory.
Yeah.
All right.
Not a
Well, so-
manifesto.
So the next one I have, Adam,
That's
is
pretty wild.
these Japanese experiments. So Japan has a human-animal hybrid research program now.
Spider goats. It's spider goats.
Cow
So
people.
Basically, the program was,
people.
I don't know how we're just hearing about this because it was approved in 2019. They approved a research of human-on-animal hybrid embryos to explore medical advancements.
This isn't the first time I've heard about this.
No, you've heard about it before?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, we
Mr.
talked
Jones
about
has
it.
been saying shit about this for years, and everybody calls him crazy. Cow people is the United States one, and
Yeah.
goat people.
Lizard
Fuck yeah.
people.
Liz. Dude,
Oh,
we're
Alex
finding
is right.
Alex Jones was right. You heard it here first.
He just didn't have the full context.
Yeah.
Well, he just wasn't 20 years in the
Now
future.
That's
buy
what I'm
my
saying.
supplements.
Brother.
Brother, make sure you
So
buy my
half
supplements.
human, half animal experiments.
So check it out. So-
Isn't that against the Geneva Convention?
Not in
It's-
Japan.
It feels like a war crime. It feels
I
like a
thought
war
we weren't
crime.
allowed to do that.
So this is the deal.
Officially.
This is what they're trying to do.
I know what they're trying to do. What are they saying they're trying to do?
So the primary aim is to grow human organs within animal hosts, addressing the critical shortage of donor organs for transplantation.
I call bullshit.
I would say
They're
it's-
trying to make a super soldier.
So,
Fuck yeah, dude. Let's.
Or
I'm
Hitler
gonna
tried
start.
that. I think
or
other
is
people have
it,
tried
or is
that.
it just a perfect spy? Like, oh, you think you got a dog? Like he's sitting there
Guess
reporting
what?
back to
He-
Mother Russia.
Fuck you, dude.
Yeah, your dog's
Yeah.
name is fucking Vladimir, and
Whoever.
he's been deep
And he
cover.
speaks English and Russian. You're
Can
fucked.
you imagine?
So the process is you use this thing. It's called a human-induced pluripotent stem. It's IPS cells that are injected into animal embryos. The animal embryos are genetically modified to lack certain genes required for organ development, and that's where they splice in the human organ development.
Hmm.
So it seems fucking dicey, right?
do they
This
let
is how we
the-
get lizard people.
Do
It's how
they
you get
let them
lizard
grow
people.
up? Like
I don't know.
at what point do you take the organs away, and do you keep a
Do
couple?
they grow
just-
at the rate of the animal embryo that they're
So
using?
do you keep a couple? Like, hey, let's not harvest the heart.
It's
from
Planet
this
of the
one.
Apes.
Let's just see what happens.
This is damn dirty apes.
They say that they use
get your
animals
hands off
like
me,
mice and
damn.
pigs. They don't say what else, but they say animals such as mice and pigs to make it seem fairly.
What if
Mice
they-
and
what if
pigs
they
are
do
just
that fucking-
examples of animals.
What if
Have
they
you
do the
seen the-
woolly mammoth that they're
They
in
got
the
a
process
gorilla
of
in
fucking
there, dude.
restoring?
Hold on. Have you seen the Seinfeld episode where Kramer discovers a pig man in the hospital, says they're doing experiments on humans and pigs?
No.
Oh my god, it's the boy.
It's Pig Man. He said right here they're doing
It's
Sein-
man bear pig.
Man. Pig. So yeah.
Do you feel like that's playing God too much?
Yes.
You think
A little bit.
Think we're not supposed to do that.
we're gonna put human lungs in a pig?
I mean, if we can grow anoxic brain tissue and actually use that for electricity, why can't we just grow an organ? Why do we have to mix it with animals and shit and create stuff? You're telling me AI can't figure that part out
So
yet?
apparently people are worried about the cells integrating into the animal's brains, potentially affecting cognition.
Oh god, now they have feelings. And then there's some dude in
And
the
now
back.
they can't be controlled and they don't feel
There's
pain.
some
We're
dude
so
in the meeting,
fucked.
and he's like, "Yeah, but can you fuck it?"
Only with consent now that they can think for
Oh,
themselves.
No means no. Adam.
now they love.
Dude, so yeah, we're gonna have to keep
Wow.
we're gonna have to keep an eye on Japan and what's going on over there.
That Japanese propaganda is pretty
Well,
fucked up.
They're just generating new monsters and shit for the Power Rangers to fight
Godzilla.
over there. You know, Godzilla.
Dude, every movie and cartoon we
Godzilla.
watched as a kid is coming to life.
Yeah.
That's how that's how
What
they
a
make
time
all
to be
their
alive.
monsters, dude.
This is awesome.
Okay, my last one in tech, Adam, is OpenAI agents. So basically, OpenAI is previewing Operator. It's an autonomous AI agent that controls web browsers for human task automation. The tool will handle travel bookings, restaurant reservations, and other online shopping. It's launching first in the U.S. to ChatGPT Pro subscribers, $200 a month. When activated, the operator displays its actions on a small browser window with explanatory text, while users still maintain screen control during operation.
This is literally the precursor to every single movie where there's an AI being that poses as a human and talks to people, and they don't know it's a machine until they have to go destroy it at the end. And it's this massive,
and it's like a big room full of computer shit, and there's files everywhere, and it knows everything about it. Oh my god!
Hey, we're still awaiting to see what happens of the closed door meeting between OpenAI and government officials on the 30th.
Oh my god!
So I mean, this right here is a little scary, but I mean, theoretically, pretty cool. Like, hey, book me a flight to Paris.
Super cool.
And then like, okay, done. Also, book me a flight, book me a hotel, and a car reservation. Done.
Yeah, the start of all of it is really cool.
I know.
That's always
the
super
end
cool.
of all of it sucks.
And
that's
the
how they
first
sell
20
it.
minutes.
I've seen this movie.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The first 20 minutes of the movie, like, life is good, man.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, here comes iRobot, and you're
In
fucked.
the beginning, people were happy and embraced the new technology.
It's got that little subtext that says like
Dude,
50 years ago, and everything's beautiful.
All of a
and
sudden,
nice.
fucking Sarah Connor's grabbing onto
A
the chain
tank
link
rolls
fence
over
and
a
just
skull and fucking-
exploding and
yeah.
shit. Great.
I'm out.
This is a terrifying and exciting new world. Again, what a time.
Cow
What a
people and
time.
robots, dude. What the fuck?
All right, that's all I got. I got a little baby Fireside one.
Hit it.
Fireside! Fuck yeah! Get some!
Good timing, Adam.
Not bad. I gotta get those buttons quicker for him.
Yeah.
I got to get him up here.
Yeah.
So
top.
I'm not fucking.
But this is just a quick one. Just one I saw. I thought it was kind of gee whiz. So this is
Got fire.
These guys ran across a car fire on their way back from another call.
Okay.
And they got a car fire going here. Adam, go ahead and play it.
Oh, is this the tart blanket?
Yeah.
Thing? Cool.
And it's super quick. You don't even see the
Oh,
very end of it.
I've heard of this.
But these are for electric
It's like a
car-
fire blanket, but for a tarp on an electric car.
Yeah. And it basically, for you just pull it right over the car and it extinguishes the flames.
That's pretty awesome.
Puts it out. Now, I guess the downside, especially with electric cars, is this thing can reignite like up to a month later,
Yeah.
which is insane. But I mean, I guess for mitigation on scene until you can figure out what's going on, like this is a pretty cool thing for battery operated cars.
Yeah.
'Cause
So
those fires are insanely toxic.
so you're a hazmat guy, and my
Goddamn right I am.
backbone of the fire department. I look at this and I go, okay, I feel bad for the two guys that are operating this blanket and all that fucking smoke, right? Because that's a worse spot to be.
They're got bottles on, yeah.
Well, sure. But then, like, when you have to take that off, like,
That was my
how
thought.
bad for you is everything in that blanket and contained in that blanket and
Well, I'm
whatever's
assuming
going
the
on?
blanket's disposable, yeah. Like, I'm wondering if this
Is it biodegradable? Does it go in landfill? Like, where does it go?
I'm assuming this is the way I would have it work. Like the only way we kind of know to put these things out safely is like to dunk it in the dirt, the
Yeah.
water.
Bury
And
it.
So basically, I'm wondering if like you
Landfill.
get this thing off. Yeah, of course. Dump in the ocean, whatever. Fucking put the blanket over it. You get the forklift to come in and then put it into the tank, right?
Yeah.
And then
Maybe
disaster-
just seal the blanket to it and just it buries it with the car.
I'm just thinking you do it just like that, and then you get the forklift to come up and dumps the whole thing right into the dumpster.
Yeah.
Right? Like the firefighter never has to come remove it or anything. There's no further mitigation required.
So you're looking at this like patience that we pick up. Like once we drop it off, like we're done. Who cares where it goes from here?
Well, that's
Wrap
exactly
'em
what,
up.
that's exactly what we do with EV cars. We don't care.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
But like, I'm thinking of like, oh, solar is the next great thing. Like, what happens next? How do we dispose of this?
Well,
Where does it go?
There are companies. If you want to make a fucking buttload of money now, come up with a disposal company for EV batteries.
Okay.
There are very few, and they dominate the city.
And we'll just get the EPA to be on our board so they can look the other way. So when we bury all this shit and it off gases and kills.
Exactly.
Okay.
But
I'm learning how to politic, dude.
you talk about all the shit, like all the heavy metals in that smoke and everything, and the runoff. Even the runoff when you're fighting fires. That's why I like the blanket better, because when you're extinguishing that, you're getting all that runoff.
Yeah.
So
That's pretty cool.
I think it's a great thing to keep guys from chugging smoke until we figure out how to put the battery out, because they will fucking go forever. There was one in Scottsdale. They just went for hours and hours and hours and
Yeah.
hours. That's a great little, buffer to keep guys from fucking chugging metallic
Well,
smoke.
and we talked too about the optics of everything, right? Like the
Mhm.
whole reason we spray water on these, even though we shouldn't,
Mhm.
is because the public is not educated on this topic enough to know that we're not supposed to do that,
Well,
or
particularly
or
with
that it's
the-
bad,
Particularly with that EV vehicle, the best thing to do would have been just to let it burn until we could get it in one of those dumpsters.
right?
But
But it looks
we
horrible to
can't
stand
do it.
around and watch, right?
Like that Carl's Jr. fire we
Yeah.
had. Like, hey, this thing is fucking. We can't
It's shedding all the water we're putting
It's a
on it.
defensive fire.
Yeah.
We can't go inside to put it. We can't get angles on it from the ladders.
Yeah, the roof's
So
intact.
we need to let the roof burn off. And that was a good plan. And they said, no, we can't do it. There's a lot of people watching in news cameras here. We can't let it burn, even though that was the best thing to do.
Yeah, and it would have been over way faster.
And once the roof finally did burn off,
Went out
we were
pretty
able
quick.
to mitigate it.
Yeah.
So that was my little fireside, just kind
I
of
like
a G-Wiz thing.
So one of the things I told you about Adam B2, anybody who runs the Minuteman load, which is where it's obviously front loaded, half of it's strapped together and the back half is in the tray like normal. This is kind of cool. So one of the things that I really like and I want to try and show in these segments sometimes is tips and tricks to kind of help make things better. This might be common knowledge for a lot of people. It wasn't for me. We recently had that training a couple months ago down at the academy. I think CJ was there kind of showing some different things about if you grab this loop, pull this loop, this is where you want to grab. It was
I'm gonna miss that one.
off the cross lays. It was really, I thought it was really good training because it was just shit to make you a professional, like make you proficient at what you do and understanding like why you grab this loop versus this loop. And if you're gonna one man alley pull, like you grab these and yank it off and it flakes out perfect, like things like that. Tips and tricks of the trade, like I think are pretty awesome. So this I believe is called the 2 up 1 down method. And so
This is for the Minuteman load.
This is specifically for the Minuteman load, but go ahead and play it, Adam. And
My hose perpendicular with the door, so I made it to my door. It's 2 up, 1 down. So it's 2 up from the nozzle.
So he's got the load on his shoulder.
1 down from the top. So I go 2 up, I put my hand through it, bring it out, 1 down. Now, what I do is I drop everything off my
He
shoulder.
just dumps it. Looks like spaghetti.
Take my right hand, I grab this one. Take my left hand, grab this one. Walk straight.
He walks backwards.
Yep. I've actually done that.
So 2 up 1 down.
Yeah, super slick.
It's completely out in a W, untangled. He's got the nozzle ready to go. I saw that. I'm like, dude, that's slick. Like, I like tips and tricks like that where maybe it's common knowledge, maybe some people know, but just to have those in your head of like, that makes us pretty efficient at what we do. Like any proficiency stuff, I'm always for. So
I like that's pretty cool. One of the shifts at our station runs the Minuteman load, and I need to practice on it more because anytime I see it, I'm like, okay, we'll just put it back.
Yeah.
2 and 4, 3 and 5.
which is standard. That's what we've done forever.
And
That's
I've
what-
never
that's what
had
we're
it
taught.
not work.
Right.
But I mean, if the other shifts are going to run it and they like it, I mean, I should probably train on it and see.
But it's just cool
See
to
how it
know
goes.
like little tips and tricks like that. I thought was pretty neat.
Yeah, I dig it. That one's pretty cool.
Uh,
You would definitely have to train on that a lot
yeah,
to be proficient. It's not
for
like
sure.
you're going up to a house and like, fuck, what was it? 1,
Yeah.
2.
2 up 1. Yeah.
You have to train on that quite a bit, like anything.
And so the last thing I want, or I guess the second to last thing, I know you're a big quote guy. You like quotes. I like quotes. I came across this one. I don't think I linked it, Adam. So I'll just kind of read it off. But it's from an account called We Go Home, and it's more of a military deal. But kind of like you get the patriotic boner. I read the quote and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. So it says, hope is a fucking wish, a coin in a well, a roll of the dice when you've got nothing left. That's not us. That's not who we are. We don't sit around waiting for the stars to align or praying to the universe to cut us a break. We don't cross our fingers and hope things are going to go our way. We're not amateurs. We're professionals. Firefighters don't run into flames hoping they'll find a way out. They run in because they know their training, their tools, their team will pull them through. They don't count on luck. They count on grit, preparation, and the will to keep going, even when the air is boiling and death is breathing down their neck. Cops don't hit the streets hoping the chaos of the night will somehow sort itself out. They lace up their boots, strap on their gear, and face the ugly side of the world head on. They aren't hoping for the best. They're planning for the worst, ready to handle whatever the hell comes their way. In the military, warriors don't step into the arena of war hoping their enemies will falter. They grind, train, and bleed so that when the time comes, they execute with precision and force. Hope doesn't win battles. Skill and violence of action do. The enemy isn't hoping to take you down. They're prepared, and so are we. Hope is what you cling to when you're unprepared, when you've got nothing left. We don't fucking need it. We walk into fire, chaos, and war with confidence, not wishful thinking. We don't roll the dice. We stack the deck. We're the ones people hope for when shit goes sideways. We're the answer when hope runs out. Because we don't rely on hope. We rely on ourselves, our brothers and our sisters, and the unshakable fact that we've put in the work to be ready for anything. Hope is for amateurs. We're professionals, and professionals get the job done. So,
Damn.
I was
See you next
reading,
week, motherfuckers.
I was reading that, and I was like, fuck yeah, I'm going to go work out.
That sounds like Jocko.
Yeah, so the group is called We Go Home. That's their account. And again, that was kind of specific to firefighters, cops, and the military. But it kind of, I don't know, man. Like we've talked before, I kind of like the preparation side. I like, without, I think like for our generation, like there was a fear of like being too buffy. you don't want to be too buffy, but there is shit like that that I think is important. I think it's important to talk about, and I don't know, kind of got jacked up.
I like it.
So the last thing I have, and this is the end of
You
the
said
fire.
that was the last thing.
No,
you
I
had.
said second last. Is the follow up to last week's workout, the standard.
Oh yes.
So Adam B3.
Oh boy, Steve. I'm just gonna venture a guess for your time.
No, hold
Steve.
on. So let me just run through it again. So there's a group called the Standard. They said they had a standard workout, and for anybody who's watching or listening and not watching, here it is. There's a picture of it on the slide. It's a 1.5 mile run, and then a 1 minute rest. Let's see, these guys, I don't think they did the rest, but it's supposed to be a minute rest. And then there's a body of work of 100 push-ups, 100 air squats, and 30 pull-ups that you can partition however you want. But once that body of work is done, it's another minute rest, and then it's 55 flights of stairs. So again, they hypothesize that a good time, and this is for somebody who's going into the academy, like to know if you're ready to go into the academy, was under 35 minutes.
The one dude said under 30.
Yeah, so they started off saying under 30, and then the guy was like, no, I've done it 4 times. I'm going to say under 35 is a good time. A great time would be under 30, and if you can go under 25, you're elite.
You're lying.
So we sat and did the math on all of it. I'm a math guy. We used to do, when CrossFit was real big, we would do CrossFit competitions. My wife and I, sometimes just myself, some friends. And I would always sit down and math out the numbers. Like, okay, if it takes me this long to do X amount of reps, in theory, this would be a good goal time for me. Like, I would always sit and kind of math it out.
I never wanted to know any of that. Just go.
So I mathed it out, and my goal was sub 30. 30 minutes or 29, like just under. I thought mathematically I could do that. What I found is my time was 33 minutes and 27 seconds.
Damn, dude.
Okay.
I feel like that's pretty good. Is that not good?
It's not to me. Like, I wanted to get under 30.
Well, what I'm saying is, then the time's got to be a little fucking fudged.
Because it kind of goes back to, and I'll try to make this quick because I know we've been going.
I got a theory.
My thing is when I see like the Mets test on the treadmill for our physical, when I see workouts like this that are all body weight, run 1.5 miles, part of me goes, I'm not a bitch. I should be able to do that. I'm not going to fucking.
I'm also not 175 pounds.
But there's also part of me that says,
right?
Never once in my 17 and a half years have I ever had to run 1.5 miles to a fire and then do work.
Fair enough.
Never. I mean, I've done.
You've never worked in 21s, dude.
I've had to do stairs. Yeah. Well, I've been in junkyards and shit. And the one that you and Justin had where we had to lay across 43rd.
That was a good mile fucking run to the fire.
It was probably a good 800, 1,200 meters, right?
Felt like 8 miles.
However, all of these style workouts, I've noticed one thing. There's never any weightlifting involved.
Yeah.
Because that's a great equalizer. And they're always made for guys 175, 180 pounds to just fucking excel at, right? Yeah. But as a competitor, I look at that and go, I should be able to do it too. It's still relative. It's all relative to body weight, right? So I just have this, I don't want to say it's an arrogance, but I have a confidence in myself that I should be able to do this. And I was extremely let down that was my time. So anybody who's listening who wants to try this out, 33:27 was my time.
Time to beat. We'll send you Fireside.
For the record, everybody at the station was also let down that you didn't.
I know. And they told me. So
I didn't think, I'll say this, I didn't think you were going to do under 35.
Really?
That's a tough one.
I think if anybody beats 30, we send them some swag.
So check this out. So
we have no swag.
Dude, beating my time is going to be super easy.
It won't.
I estimated about 6 minutes and change to do the body weight stuff. That actually ended up taking me 3 minutes longer. It took me 9 and change.
For the run?
No, for the body of work in the middle.
The middle part.
If I would have shaved that 3 minutes off, I would have been real close to that 30 sub 30 time. So that's where I lost a lot of my time. And obviously I'm not a fast runner. I ran an 8 minute mile because I was trying to conserve some energy. I ran an 8 minute mile and then I bumped it down to a 7.5 minute mile for the last half. But in the grand scheme of things, 7.5 minute mile is only 30 seconds faster, and you're doing half that. All I shaved off was 15 seconds by speeding it up. You know what I mean? So obviously if you're a runner and you can do 7 minute miles for 2 miles,
you have to be, I'll put it this way, for a perfect,
you got to be a runner.
A perfect test in the Marine Corps for your PFT was to get 3 miles under 21 minutes.
Yeah.
That's a perfect score.
So you got to be a sub 7 for 3 miles.
Yeah. And like, there's very few people that do that. Yeah. I shouldn't say very few, but not everyone's doing that.
So it was fun to do. I'm glad I did it. I'm not going to make excuses. I was just coming off being sick and I didn't care. I was like, I'm going to do this.
If you can't run and running sucks, sub the rower.
Yeah.
500
my
meters.
headphones, I didn't have headphones with me. So 3, I just went raw. While I was on the stair mill, the fucking heater in the gym kicked on. I was like, Johnny, John, turn this shit off.
It was fucking hot in there. I'll give you that.
But yeah, dude, the stairs definitely with no music and shit, and like no TV on, no nothing. Like that was a mental deal because it felt like it just took forever.
Yeah.
But I told Adam on the way in, John, I'm gonna do this once a week for a total of 4 weeks. I'm gonna get 4 of them in and see how my time improves.
You'll get to 30.
I think 31.
31:52.
You think 31:52? Okay, I think
I'll take the under. I'll take 30 minutes.
I think I'm gonna be in the 31 minute range. I think I can shave 2 minutes.
Here's the thing: is like you're only gonna get a little better at the rhythm of the exercise because you're not deconditioned. Like you're a fit guy.
Yeah.
You're only gonna get so much better, and that's just gonna come from like, okay, I can break this.
For the record, I'm 6'4" 3/4", and I think at my physical I was 254 pounds. So yeah, I'm not a little runner type. Yeah. The only thing I wonder too is like, are these guys doing kipping pull-ups? Are they stringing 30 together and now they're done?
Yeah, you're doing dead hangs.
And I was doing strict dead hangs. Just for anybody listening, I partitioned it into 10 rounds of 10 push-ups, 10 air squats, 3 pull-ups because they were all strict, and I wanted to be able to
I do got some video. I'll splice it together, put it together on the YouTube channel. So like and subscribe.
Anybody who wants to do it, I know my time wasn't fast. I expect to be beat, but try that out. Link your times. Will, I know you'll fucking try it. Will's listening. Superfan Will, I know you got this.
Yeah, Will's 175 pounds.
He's gonna crush it.
Hey,
and no kipping, cheater. Strict pull-ups.
I got a fireside thing real quick.
All right.
30 seconds. Yeah. Less than that. We have an officer in our mix.
Oh, you guys.
What?
We have an officer in our mix, dude.
Oh, Steve.
Fucking A.
Yeah.
Shout out to Captain
Thanks,
Steve, baby.
Yeah, promoted.
That's
today.
all. That's
official
all.
today.
Official, baby.
Yep.
I don't want to talk about it.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Johnny's mad at me.
I am. Breaking up the family.
I'm not.
You are. You've left.
Still here.
You're gone.
I'm like a stepdad.
This is his last shift at the
What
station.
are you doing,
last
stepdad?
Oh, God.
No. You're not mad. You're just disappointed.
I'm sad. I'm just genuinely sad.
I am too.
Like,
I'll be back.
Yeah, it's not the same.
I know.
Cut the feed.
That's it. All right. We're gonna go be sad.
See you next time, everybody.
Later. Dude, I was so worried, Adam.
About what?
That you were gonna say, hey, let's